we're gonna do a, I guess, video review of the many Jinhao pins that are available. There's just like a million different models, and so I bought a bunch from AliExpress. So here they are in sequence, in no particular order. This is the Jinhao 750, Jinhao 86, Jinhao 777, Jinhao 75, Jinhao 65, and then this is like just like another offshoot brand of Jinhao called Rao and 7055. And on the tips here, you can see I actually wrote down with the pen. You can see basically what the quality is. To start off with, I bought this pen for I think it was like $1 Canadian. This was also $1 Canadian, and they both wrote really well. So I was kind of curious as to how much a more expensive pen will write, and then so I bought these other four afterwards, and I'm kind of disappointed. Like the cheapest pens were actually the best performing. Like this thing writes like a champ. It just is super reliable. It writes every time, and the ink doesn't skip. Um, this one has a really nice form factor. The Jinhao 65 is really nice and sleek and matte, but I'm not sure if I got a dud or anything, but you can see here the ink is kind of like spilling out. And it's like after like 2 days of use, this started happening. So every time I use, I have to like kind of clean this up. Other than that, it writes really well. Um, and then these other four that I got, out of the four, I would say this one writes the smoothest was the Jinhao 750, but it's just really, really chunky. So if you like chunky pens, like this is the pen for you. It writes like really broad strokes. It's probably like a medium tip, and it's a really wet ink as well. Whereas this one is also really nice, but it has this twisting mechanism, and it's a hooded nib. So like the nib here is covered up, but yeah, it writes really well as well. Um, and then these two were like the shittiest pins out of the bunch, and that which is surprising. This thing costs like $7. This is like the most expensive pin out of all of these, but it rolled like the second worst. As you can see, like it skips all the time, and it's just basically unusable. But it looks really nice, but it's very bad. And this is the other like offshoot brand. I just wanted to see like what a non-Jinhao pen would write like. It's probably like a subsidiary of Jinhao because it's on the same flagship store on AliExpress, and also it skips a lot. Um, so yeah, if you were considering a pen from Jinhao, and you just wanted to write the smoothest for the best bang of your buck, I would definitely suggest the Jinhao 777. It just is super lightweight and it just writes really well. So this will be my top recommendation. Number two, if you like a really like smooth pen and like with really wet ink, is probably this one, Jinhao 750. But again, it's a big chunker of a pen. Its ergonomics is not really that great if you have small hands. If you have big hands, maybe you enjoy this one. And then I think the one that looks the best out of all this is just subjective, like looks, but I think the one that looks the best is the Jinhao 65. If you can get this one without the ink leaking, I think this will be like the best, like the nicest one to kind of just carry around with you. So I'm gonna do like a written comparison of all these pens. Usually I write, just use them in my journal, so we can see how they write. So let's start from the beginning. This is the Jinhao 750. Got my journal here. Let's see. Okay, we'll just do a random page so you see how it writes. So Jinhao 750. This is a tin test. Very broad strokes. The pen has a medium nib, I believe, and writes very smooth but wet. Okay, so Jinhao 750. Next, is the Jinhao 86. This is the one with the hood in it, and you also have to like kind of twist it to open it. So Jinhao 86. This is the hooded nib pin. It's very kind of skipping a little bit. I haven't used this for maybe about 4 or 5 days. Very fine nib. Okay, looks like it's smooth now. Yeah, typically writes very smooth. So nothing bad to say about this one. If you like a hoodie nib, this is the way to go. This is a very retro style as well. And then this is like the cream of the creme, like the most bang for your buck. This is the Jinhao 777. Jinhao, oh yeah, 777. It's plastic, but oh, super smooth. This is the best. I would recommend this pen. Yep. So definitely, if you're looking at a cheap pen that writes really well, best bang for your buck, this is it. Just get this. No questions asked. Really good ergonomics as well. It's got this triangular thing going on, and just like holding it is very nice. Okay, and then next one is the Jinhao 75. Yeah, you can see it doesn't even write. This is just a shitter of a pen. Ugh, just terrible. It looks really nice though, but it's just terrible. Yeah, see? Yeah, do not get this thing. It's terrible. Next one, Jinhao 65. Yeah, other than the 777, this is the smoothest. The smoothest pen. It's also, I think it's extra fine. Extra fine tip, but it leaks ink. See, like even writing it, look at that. Got some ink on my hand. So if it weren't for that, I'm not sure if this is just a manufacturing defect that I got. I really like the styling of this. This is like the most sleek and minimal. It's very thin and light. And then the last one that we have, it's the RAW 7055. See? Yeah. It skips. RAW 7055. Yeah, can't really write anything. Don't get this thing. It's a piece of crap. I should also mention like all these pens, they come with converters on the inside. So you can use the cartridge based like this, or you can use their converters. All the converters are basically exactly the same. Let's see, find one where I use the converter. I think this one I use the converter. You can use either one. Yeah, so there's a converter with the ink. Yeah, so that's a very quick review and comparison between all these pens. To summarize, best bang for a buck, best ergonomics, most lightweight, smoothest write is this pen right here. It's the Jinhao 777. It comes with many different colors. It's the cheapest one as well. And then if you're looking for a hooded nib, then it's the Jinhao 86. Writes very smooth as well, but it has a twisting cap. And then finally, if you want the wettest pen and the most chunky one, it's this one, which is the, I believe this one is the Jinhao 750. Let me just double check here. Yeah, it's Jinhao 750. Okay, so that's it. Good luck buying these pens. It's a really fun hobby to get into.